Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to show you guys all of my little oddities. So I'm not really sure what to call these, but when you Google oddities, these are the kind of things that come up. So I'm just going to call this my collection of oddities. So let's head over there. And here I have a preserved mantis and beetle. And here I have a dandelion, or what I like to call a wishweed, preserved as well. And here I have a butterfly and a moth preserved. And here I have some pressed flowers in glass. And now we're getting to the best part, or what I think is the best part, which is all of the little jars that have shed and a bunch of other cool things, like I have bones and I have animal fur. We'll get to that in a minute. This is just the reptile shed shelf. It's my bat shelf, which is my old crystal shelf. And then here's where you can find all the other cool things. It's on a coffin shelf. Alright, let's do some close-ups. We're gonna start with the bones and such. So here we have my dog Jackson's baby teeth. Yes, I kept a lot of his baby teeth and I'm very happy that I was able to find something to do with them because they were just sitting in a box all this time, and he's 7 years old. So then this is a bunch of bone fragments, which I believe came from a rabbit. It actually died in our yard some time ago, and the site had a bunch of hair and bone fragments and stuff still, so I took some of that. Of course, I'm washing my hands and stuff after touching it, but it is just, it's bone. But yeah, there's like a little claw, I think, and some other little fragments, but definitely strange. Wouldn't have expected to find that in my backyard because we don't really have like any woods or anything. It's like a fenced in backyard. I also found these fragments in the backyard, which I was able to identify as a rodent tooth and a jaw. And the jaw is actually from a shrew, so it's pretty neat. But again, I just happened to find these in my backyard, which doesn't even have any trees or anything. It's just this little fenced in backyard, and the dogs never come across any animals, so kind of cool. Then here I have some of that rabbit fur that I was mentioning earlier from the rabbit that, is no longer living, unfortunately. Here I have some rat fur, which I actually collected from my rat's bedding before they passed away. So I had a little piece of them as well. And then here is a bunch of what I think is sea glass, although I'm not entirely sure. It was put in like a little gift baggie with a bunch of my crystals that I got from a friend. So I think it is, but it's really cool, so I wanted to keep it. And then I also got these little dried flower petals from that gift as well. And of course I wanted to keep it. And then we also have a bunch of snail shells. Now these all came from my backyard, which again surprises me, but they're just like everywhere in my backyard if you just look, underneath of things. I also have this cicada molt. There's going to be tons of them coming up, but this is the first one I found, and then I found a bunch more, so I was like, all right, let's get a big jar for those. I also found this little piece of cicada wing and I wanted to preserve it. And then I also have this big cicada that actually fell to the ground dead in front of me in my backyard. It's just funny because I never really see cicadas, but I wanted to keep it. And so I put it in this jar and very careful with it so I don't break it. Obviously it's gonna be very fragile, especially the wings, but it's in pretty good shape and it's just absolutely beautiful. And now we're on to the reptile sheds. This is from my Uramastix wren. I will include pictures of the reptiles on the screen so you can see the species in case you're not familiar with them. But yeah, this came from my Uramastix wren. This one is from my garter snake Mikasa. This is from one of my bearded dragons. I'm pretty sure it's from Nova. This is from my blue-tongued skink Haku. This is the headpiece of shed from my Peter's banded skink Shukaku. This is the head and tail shed of my leopard gecko Tyrion, who actually is one of the leopard geckos who likes to leave me little shed presents, so a lot of my shed is from him. And now we're on to the small jars. This is the foot of my blue-tongued skink Haku. This is a piece of back shed from my red-eyed crocodile skink Fugaku. And these are my red-eyed crocodile skink's arm shed, which I was really happy to get, and I put them together in the same jar. This is a small piece of blue-tongued skink shed, which shows the cool banding that they have on their bodies. This is a small piece of Peter's banded skink shed. Again, it shows a really cool banding on their body that's preserved in the shed. This is shed from my bearded dragon Nova. It comes from her arm. This is shed from my Uromastyx Wren. I really love the detail of the scaling here. Oh, so cool. I think it came from like her stomach. This is a leopard gecko foot, probably honestly Tyrion's. Here's another leopard gecko foot, although I think this is from one of my girl enigmas who like needed help with stuck shed and it peeled off like a sock. Can't remember specifically which one though. This is a bit of leopard gecko tail. I assume it's Tyrion's. This is the face of my garter snake Mikasa. As you can see, like her little eyes and her open mouth. And here is the lower jaw shed from a crested gecko, most likely Ryuk. He's the one that likes to leave little gifts. So because it's getting cold out, I found this little bee on my back deck, like freezing to death, and I wanted to save him, so I brought him, or it could be her as well, but I brought the bee inside, named it Benny, got it warmed up, and it started to move around a lot. I gave it a 50-50 sugar water mix to eat. You know, it's not a permanent diet or anything, but it's just something to get them going so they can find their way back to where they're going when it's warm out, and unfortunately he died. And I've kept him in this little jar, that way, you know, he can be appreciated, I guess. I don't know. I didn't know what to do with him, but I wanted to keep him, so I put him in a little jar, and now he lives on my coffin shelf with all the others. And also, my mom found these 3 little jars, and, well, not 3, but she found more than 3, but she found these little jars, which I ended up using to preserve some of the leopard gecko foot shed, because it looks a lot cuter when it's in a little jar like that. And you'll notice that the middle one only has 4 fingers, and that's because it's from my gecko Davos, who only has 4 fingers on that one hand. And I also decided to take the tiny jaw and put it in a little jar, that way it's much more visible. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing my little collection of oddities. If you did, let me know down below. What kind of things do you have? Like, what do your oddities look like? Also, what would you like to see me get? Because I am so down to get new oddities. And like, the more I look into it, the more I find that there's so much that I want to have. That's a problem I have, is when I can't sleep at night, I'm on Etsy shopping like I have money to spend. Okay, I don't actually buy anything, but I just like mentally shop. I like favorite things, and I'm like, oh yes, I would buy this when I had YouTube money, if I ever have YouTube money. But yeah, that's how I spend my nights when I can't sleep. I just pretend shop for random things on Etsy. But thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!